Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I brought in Sam a little bit earlier than I planned to there. I went to go to the other screen, but Sam's in now anyway, so if Sam can hold on for 1 second, we are live right now. I apologize for the delay. Essentially, YouTube's just a dick. That's all there is to it. Sometimes it has technical problems, sometimes things work, and sometimes I'm also a little bit useless, a little bit like Manchester City tonight in front of goal. We lost 2-0, but this is the Fan View Live. Sam sat alongside me waiting to have a say on this game. Don't forget as well, I'll jump over to this other screen actually, so it's a little bit less awkward for Sam sat there doing nothing. Basically, if you want to have a say, don't forget patrons and members can have their say. If you are a patron or you are a member, all you've got to do is go to either of those relevant pages, patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany, and there's a link on StreamYard where you can join in like Sam has, which I'll go back to in a second, and on youtube.com/Esteemed Kompany. If you're a member, you'll find a link in the community tab. You'll be able to find them and you can come in, join in, and be ready for a chat to me and chat about tonight's game. So I'm going to go over back now to Sam. Thank you, Sam, for waiting, mate. Whereabouts you calling from again, and how are you? Are you okay?
Not too bad. Calling from Sydney. It's fucking 8 a.m. so I really slept. But that's life. Supporting
genuinely
football overseas, especially in Australia. It's like 27-year difference of time, so that's groovy. But that game was pretty horrible. But I wasn't actually disappointed. I think we played pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm not too annoyed. I'm just underwhelmed.
Are you annoyed about the lack of sleep though and staying up for it?
Nah, I'm not annoyed by it. I've been doing it for like 7-8 years now. I haven't really missed many games, so it's like normal. I completely fucked my sleep schedule. It's giving me like insomnia, but
yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. That's the things we do for football. That's entirely the things we do for football. Yeah, absolutely messes up.
Yeah.
What do you think was the essentially the cause of tonight's loss, really? Because as you said, we did play all right, but it still wasn't really the night for us, was it?
I think the best way to look at things, as I'm sure you know, is when you look at the XG, like expected goals and against, especially
yeah,
it just shows that for the last few games, even in the Chelsea game or whatnot, we've just been underperforming on goal, which just means that we do need a striker that can finish the ball a lot better. And I think the formation we went in today was a bit not great. I didn't really love it. I don't like Sterling down the middle. I don't mind Sterling. I haven't got a massive issue with him, but I don't think he's really good enough anymore. But I'm still happy for him to play just on a wing.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have rather had Ferran Torres in the middle and maybe even rested Grealish because he just didn't look up for it tonight. Nothing against him. I think he started really well. But, he had a massive game. I think he ran 13 kilometers or something the other day.
Was that Bruyne? Yeah, 13 kilometers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think I'll say that in my match reaction. He can't be used to that. He just can't be. That's a different level.
Not. He's playing Aston Villa with 40% possession most for the last 5 years. So
yeah,
it's a big difference for him to come. And I think the main thing we'll miss, I don't think it's really been touched on at all, is Gundogan. Gundogan's really, really good in group stage matches in Champions League because he's a lot slower pace and he can dictate a play a lot better.
Yeah,
and he can build it up a lot, just a lot better. And then we just missed that completely. And I think if we had him, I genuinely think that result would have been a lot different. And maybe even if we played Ferran through the middle, I think a lot of things would change. But that's all ifs and buts. But I think the main thing is we didn't actually play that badly, and people were overreacting a bit as usual.
That's the internet, isn't it? I mean, apparently you're not worth salt unless you've got a strong opinion one way or the other. I mean, I think the hardest thing to say for most people is that was all right. That's one of the hardest things people struggle to say sometimes for some reason. I don't know why, but
obviously I'm not happy or anything, but
yeah, of course.
If you look at the stats, you had 2.2 XG, they had 0.3. Messi's just incredible. What can you say? He did nothing or quite literally nothing all game. Pretty sure I had a bigger impact on that game than Messi until he scored. So but yeah, that's what he does. He pops up, and that's why he's the best player of all time.
It was a stark contrast, wasn't it, the quality of his finishing compared to ours.
I don't know how Bernardo did not finish that goal, but I'll give him benefit of the doubt because he was so good last game. I think there's a difference between Sterling. It's just he's allowed to make some mistakes because he's doing so much good. So I think the reason why a lot of fans just start fucking on Sterling is because he's not doing anything to back up the shitty things he does.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think Sterling was actually horrible tonight. It just wasn't good.
No, I don't think it was either. I know, admit
I
if he
think
was,
Rodri, again, was incredible.
Really good. He
Yeah.
looked strong, didn't he? He looked composed. He looked like
Rodri's been our best player of the season so far by a country mile. Like, by so far. He's been better
this
than
season.
everyone. Yeah, I reckon. I back it. I've been saying I liked Rodri. I like it when we signed him. Always liked the idea of it. But got all sides, historically the hardest side to like step into and get used to. So I think it's just taken a bit of time, but now he's there and he's like probably loving it.
No, he was good. I mean, what? I'm not going to try and influence your weight or opinion or anything like that. But why do you think Ferran didn't start tonight? In your personal opinion?
I think first of all, I think Pep needs to please certain people, and Sterling is a bigger name than Ferran Torres. That's I think that's a more minor thing, but I think apart from his finishing, which is clearly better than anyone's in probably that team that we started today, his finishing, I think he doesn't add as much to the game as at least Pep thinks than like say a Sterling or a Grealish or something.
Yeah.
And whilst I would agree with that, I think we've got enough people that are dynamic and fast and can dribble without need to include a Grealish or a Sterling today. I think one of the two of them could have been either not playing or playing on a different position or something.
Yeah.
Probably Grealish for me, just because I think he's just played so much. I think we're only really playing him now just because he was like cost us so much money. I think any other player would have been dropped. I mean, not dropped, sorry, rested by now. So yeah.
It feels like an intentional strategy with not Sterling, so Grealish for me. I feel like they are essentially. I feel like they're playing him into Manchester City. You know what I mean by that? In terms of I think Guardiola
it's like playing him to completely understand what's going on.
Yeah, I feel like some players are more cautious a little bit for whatever reason. The Grealish is like, well, his physicality's there. He's eager to impress. And maybe it's also because Foden was out and De Bruyne was out for a while, and now Gundogan's out, and it's an element of just happenstance. You have to play him as well. But I do think with Grealish, they've taken the idea that actually he'll benefit most from not sitting back, from being actually involved. He could decide as well that Grealish doesn't seem the sharpest lad, if I'm being honest. He's very much, I can imagine he's a doer as opposed to a thinker, and a learner. He might be like Grealish, the best way for him to learn is to understand it and feel it, maybe. So I don't know why him, not others, when they've signed, but... I mean, I actually
kind of gives me like David Silva vibes when he first came a bit. I don't know why.
That's not unrealistic, People forget that David Silva wasn't brilliant at the start, and there was a lot of people questioning him initially. Actually, there was.
Yeah, and like he was playing through the left a bit, centrally to the left a bit more, and I feel like he's got that kind of like David Silva's like literally my favorite player of all time, but sometimes it's that reluctantness to just shoot that David Silva constantly had, where like he'll be through on goal and just be like, "Fuck it," just pass it to someone and like screw it up a bit, but it's fine because he's such an incredible player. But I feel like Grealish just needs a bit more confidence, which will grow, and then he'll be fine. But I think Bernardo is probably the worst player in the field today, to be honest.
In the field today, Bernardo?
Yeah, but I don't know why on earth we played him. Clearly, no one in the world can play 2 games in the space of like 4 days after he played that type of game against like Chelsea. That was go
and have a couple of days
bloody incredible.
Shift, wasn't it? Like he needed to sit and do nothing but get in a spa and an ice pool. That's all.
Yeah,
he needed to do for a few days.
That's why I would have loved Gundogan to come in, or even just one of the academy guys. To be honest,
yeah,
I think there's so much to offer there, and I think today's a really good game to play them in because
I feel like if it wasn't a PSG, by the way, we probably would have seen a few more changes.
Yeah,
it's PSG, isn't it? So it's Messi and PSG, and that means something. And Neymar as well. That'll mean something to Pep, won't it?
Don't think Neymar was that good. That pass to Messi was fucking insane, though. That was really nice. Good thinking. But Mbappe's kind of not good at all when he's versing Walker. Just pace merchant.
Mbappe's problem is he's the same problem as PSG's. Mbappe needs to go and challenge himself somewhere else now. Like he's not going to learn beating Johnny French fullback week in week out. He's not going to, is he? He needs to.
I've never seen him do anything as nearly as good as when he was at Monaco against us in those games.
Well, yeah, I think no, you're right. You're absolutely. Do you know what? I agree. He obviously has a good game for Spain, France every now and then, but for France, once again, international football, in my opinion, is a lesser level than the Champions League and Premier League.
International football is dog shit. Like I live in Australia, so I know that better than anyone. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm with you on that, man. Unfortunately, I don't. I think Mbappe. I think he's plateaued a little bit. That's my honest opinion. Like, and he's got plenty of time to get better.
I don't put him like my top 10 players right now in the world, but it's pretty big hot take. But yeah.
Nope.
I also think Nuno Mendes, he started the game pretty fucking horribly, but he grew into it a lot, and I think it's probably one of the better players towards after the second half, and that I think it really showed that we kind of missed out on something there. I remember bringing up last time I was here. I just think that would have been a great signing. I think left back is just an area we've needed for so long, and especially if Mendy, doing some pretty horrible things. We really need some cover there because I don't think I love Zinchenko, but he's a squad player.
That's an interesting take. I mean, I think Mendes. I think he did start pretty ropey, if I'm being honest. I thought he looked easy to beat. He grew into the game. I feel like he's probably quite raw still. And I think maybe the perception 100%. Was that. I think he is raw. I think it's simple as that. I mean, whatever reason, we might have been interested in, but maybe just not yet. And maybe the idea was urgency, and they're like, well, we just need to be a little bit calmer for a year, and whatever reason they didn't go to it. But I don't agree with Michael, by the way. He said Mbappe is the top 3 player in the world right now. I don't even close to agree. Sorry, mate. I don't think he is. I just don't.
I think Wilson Esbjerg has a pretty high ceiling, just as high as Mendes as well. I think he looks great.
Yeah, no, he's a good player, but once again, like it's just you don't play him against PSG, against Messi and Hakimi.
No, you don't.
That'd be almost cruel. In fact, it'd be as much as he'd love it. It's just like there's a reason young players are held back every now and then, and sometimes not. But Sam, mate, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to get to Louis, who's been waiting for a long time, if that's all right. But
have a nice night, man.
Massively appreciate you coming on. Sam's a legend. If you guys want to chat as well, don't forget, if you are a member or a patron, you can go and find the link, the StreamYard link, over on patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany or youtube.com/Esteemed Kompany in the community tab. I've got a few more people coming up. Big love to everyone watching, by the way. Please do give this video a like if you don't mind, and please do hit that subscribe button. My match reaction as well, if you want my opinion, the match reaction is available, so you can go and watch that after this game. Frustrating night, of course, but still plenty more to have a chat about. I'm going to go over and I'm going to bring in Louis. How you doing, my friend? You all right?
Yeah, good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Just one of those nights, isn't it? One of those nights. But I'm definitely not gonna overreact. But it's fine. What are you drinking there, by the way?
Desperado.
Desperado. A solid drink, man. A solid drink. A bit of lime in it, hopefully.
No, I haven't got any lime in it. I'm used to it as it is.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. What did you make it tonight, man?
It is what like I've saved it on trademarks, but I'm just like, it is what it is.
Yes, sometimes it is what it is. As simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, you said it perfectly in your reaction, and I tweeted it after the game. Pep will look at this, and it will make it better for him. I got the feeling that this is gonna be like, I know it sounds weird, but do you remember 2002 with Brazil when they won the World Cup and they first Turkey in the semi-finals?
Yeah.
I got a feeling it's going to be the same as that. I know it's the opposite, that Brazil beat them in the group stage and they beat them in the semis, but I got the feeling that we're going to face them again. I don't know why, but
I agree. This won't settle this tie, if that makes sense, between us and PSG. I don't think it will do either.
So they beat us, and I got to say, fair play to them. And I always think, like, tactically we played better, but tactically PSG played good as well, because I did not expect to keep like the back four and the midfield three to come back as quick as they did. And I was amazed with that. And they were just like, Poch said to Mbappe and Neymar and Messi, stay up front.
Yeah.
And make the back, like, Martin Keown said it in the first half, I think it was, where it's just like Cancelo has to think when to go forward or stay back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that summed up perfectly for me, because you have those front three. I saw, like, people say, like, oh, this is the best front three in the world. I'll still say Messi, MSN, because that interplay was...
Oh, that was better for me, definitely.
Like, it was insane. Like, there was moments where, like, I saw it, Mbappe, and I was thinking, if that was Suarez, he'd pass it straight away, or Neymar, or Messi. They'd pass it straight away to Suarez or Neymar, and vice versa, or whatever. But Mbappe, he would, apart from the goal, he didn't do that much. There was only two or three times.
No, I agree. I think it was quiet largely. But I mean, I guess it was very much a case of here's what you could have won, wasn't it? Though I was watching.
It's those three anyway, so you're just like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
That's the thing is that I think they showed us probably a little bit of what we probably know that we're lacking. I mean, it's weird because we're in a situation where we all know we need a striker. We do, but we can't really do anything about it other than really just repeat that statement over and over again, which is not wrong to do. But it's like we just have to kind of get on with it, don't we? Really, because we saw like the quality of Messi. Obviously, Messi's the greatest of all time in many people's opinions, and mine personally. But there's a finish there of just insane quality that you didn't really feel like we were capable of tonight. And I guess that's what I mean. If we get that, we're unstoppable, aren't we? You know, that level of finishing, surely.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I just literally thought when, like, after Messi scored that goal, I actually thought, did Messi look at videos, like if he looked at Ederson and think that's the only place I can put it, because anywhere else on that, like anywhere else in that goal, Ederson gets close and he gets a touch to it, and in that spot where he put it, that's the only place he could put it, and it's Messi. So that's the only place he will put it. I can't remember how. Like I swear to God, it's like a decade ago. Graham Souness, Andy Gray. I hate saying his name. Like someone like that said. Like I think it was like either Thierry Henry or Arsene Wenger said, he puts it in the spot where you least expect it.
Oh, he's that instinctive, Messi. He's that instinctive.
Like it's in my head since then. It's just like he'll dink it when he dinks it. He'll score in the top bit, like he'll score in the top corner when he scores in the top corner. He'll put it in the corner where he scores in the top corner. I remember like the last goal he scored against us when we won 3-1. He put it in the near post, and Rudy Caballero was just like,
it's just what like, can you do, man? He's on another level, isn't he, that way? What did you... I saw Scott in the chat, big love to Scott Denemy, saying the referee was awful tonight. Like, that was Scott's opinion. That's Scott's... That reminded me. What was your opinion? Go on.
I was texting my dad through the game as well about it. And when there's a Spanish referee in the game, we got to expect favours towards the opposition. Because I know straight away when that is announced, Tabas will be in their ear saying, give it against City no matter what. Even so fucking obvious. I just literally think that from now on. Lahouz, fuck him. The referees tonight, fuck him. Any Spanish referee in our games, I'm calling it, they will not give, even if it's a clear-cut penalty. Was it Lahouz who didn't give a penalty against us against Monaco? I swear it was, wasn't it?
I admit I'm terrible at refs. I never remember him. That's my honest weak point.
Where him, like, I can't remember who. I swear it was a Spanish referee against Monaco where Aguero should have had the penalty. If we have a Spanish referee in a big game in the Champions League and knockout rounds, because I don't think it'll happen again in the group stages, but in a knockout round where it's tight and they know that's in the second leg or the first leg where it's at the opposition's venue, like Liverpool at Anfield, Dortmund, like those big crowds where it's just like they're really up for it. I'm convinced it will be a Spanish referee. I am convinced it's a Spanish referee, and Tabas will be in the ear saying, "Do not give."
I love your commitment to this. I'm going to say, mate, to be contrarian.
Lahouz as well in the final. When I saw that, I was just like, we're not going to win. Even if we have a clear-cut penalty, we are not going to get it.
Oh, he should have sent Rudiger off. That's my controversial opinion. I think Rudiger should have been sent off. But couldn't he have sent De Bruyne off tonight, though, if he wanted to? He could have easily sent De Bruyne off, to fair to him.
Yeah.
Because that was an easy sending off if you wanted to. And no one would have really complained too much. Because it was like,
I was surprised because it was at the game last season, like in the Champions semi-finals last season at the Parc Des Princes, where Gueye got a straight red.
Yeah.
I was thinking that would be poetic justice for them, but I was like when they were just like when he just went carry on. It's just like I was just like wow.
Yeah, because it was touch and go for me, but I can see why someone would give it a red. It's like one of those orange cards where I can see why someone would argue it was in the middle.
It felt like Stones against Villa.
Yes, very
last
similar.
season.
No, I agree actually.
And who was the Leeds player against City?
Stuart Dallas.
Yeah,
Was it Stuart Dallas?
yeah. No, not Stuart Dallas. He scored the 2 goals.
No, yeah, the other one. It was the other one. I
can't
I
remember
blanked
his
it out, mate. I blanked it out.
I'm thinking of Click, but I don't think it's him. But it's a Leeds player. It's just one of those where it's just like you look at them. It's just like it shouldn't be, but you understand why it's red. And I just like when carry on, I was just like, wow.
So
But it's
finally, man, how are you feeling about the weekend for that Chelsea Liverpool game?
I'm actually like the way there was that. I don't know if it was the ultras or just the whole crowd, but it just felt like the whole stadium tonight was they're just on it all night long. And I think City, from the experience tonight, I think they'll be used to it. And I don't think Anfield, like famous last words.
Yeah.
I don't think Anfield will be as electric as that because, like, I remember like PSG in like big games in the past. I always like whenever I've watched them, it's just like they've always been electric, like as good as any big Champions League game in the past. Yeah. So I think it'll be a good experience, but
we'll have to see, won't we, mate? We'll have to see.
It's just have to see how Sunday goes because it's a completely different game, a completely different vibe. We might be like how we were against Chelsea. We might be how we were tonight, and it's just like we don't get the chances. I'll just have to say I'm glad that we had the game tonight. So then when we like, because I'm convinced we'll face them in the quarterfinals or semi-finals again. I'm glad we.
I feel like we can beat him, man. I feel like we can beat him. I feel like we can do.
And it's just one question. Do you think? No, a two-part. Do you think tonight, if Gundogan was not injured, we would have got something from the game? And two, what's our best team for the season ahead?
My honest answer is I don't know about Gundogan. I think he's could have been important. I don't think Gundogan's been in incredible form this season. To be honest, maybe. I honestly don't know. It's one of those nights where, look, Gundogan could be on the pitch, but Bernardo could still miss from a yard, you know. And it's one of those where I don't know. Possibly, but to be honest, I think if we play that exact same again, anyway, we probably win. You know, like we just don't make the same mistake. You know, that's the way I feel about it. If we played again another 90 minutes now, I think we'd probably win. So I don't know. And in terms of the strongest season, strongest team, I mean, it really just depends on the form because he would have said Jesus 5 games ago, and right now Jesus obviously was so good against Chelsea that you'd be stupid not to start him. So I guess it's very fluid because you just don't know who's going to be in great form. And I would never have said Rodri and Bernardo was going to be our best partnership in midfield, but it looks like it is. And I wouldn't have said Jesus would be starting on the right 2 months ago, but he is. So I would say right now, I mean, if we had a big game tomorrow again. Yeah, I'd want to play and everyone was fit. I want to play the same team against Chelsea because it worked. You know, it's as simple as that. But there is certain players that are relatively interchangeable, man. Gundogan could find his form and come in. Mahrez was good tonight. I thought he was decent. And I'm never gonna. Certain players I don't mind if they start, if that makes sense. Like he's interchangeable. But Louis, man, I'm gonna crack on and get Tony on if that's all right because he's been waiting for a while. But I appreciate you coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
I just want to say one thing. I just think Gundogan tonight I just think tonight it just screamed Gundogan. I genuinely think it's a Champions League night, and I remember watching.
He's good in the Champions League. I give you that. Actually, he's good in the Champions League. Yeah.
Graham Hunter, you heard it, but he did that 2-part with Graham Hunter before the Champions League final, and he thrives the Champions League, and I just think tonight he would have seen it, and he wouldn't have smiled and give it an obvious for the cameras, but he would have done something tonight. I don't know what it was, but
we'll have to wait and see, man. Yeah. I'm going to go on to the next people, mate, but thank you so much for going on, Louis. Catch you in a bit. See you in a bit, dude. Right, don't forget, if you can jump on if you want to. I'm going to go to Tony next, who's been waiting patiently, and I'm not trying to get anyone off because it's just mainly my way. It's relatively late and people have got work and stuff on the live, so I'm going to crack on. So I'm going to go over to Tony next. I'm going to add him to the stream now. Tony, how you doing? Nice dressing gown, by the way, man.
Thank you.
Bloody love it. Hang on. Give me 1 second.
Oh, he's getting his.
Don't write it on, mate. You can hear me in the background. Look at that. That is how it goes.
There we
Boom.
go. Sorted.
Look at that, Nicola. Tony's got a good dressing gown as well going on. This is how we roll in this this thing. I'll stand up as well with you, and we'll chat away.
Yeah.
Go on, Tony. How are you doing, man? You okay?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm cozier now, but I'm also boiling, so I'm gonna open the window. But talk to me about tonight in the game.
I think it was just one of those games. I said it in the chat. At the end of the game, we weren't overly bad. I think the performance in general was okay. It could have been more clinical in the final thirds. But I think personally, it's one of those ones. We do it 10 times, we win 5 of them. I think just tonight they got the rub of the green. They took their chances. That second goal, when the ball was laid off before Messi even hit it, it was screaming goal.
Dick. He's such a dick. He's just good, isn't he? He's really good. He's really fucking good, and it's like it's mad how Messi, he's normalised scoring from 20 yards top corner. Like it's an easy finish for him, and it's a 1-on-1 for him, and it's like 20 yards in the top corner. He's not normal, and he's against us. No. Was there any doubt he was going to score tonight? By the way, against us first goal.
It had to be, yes, because that was his first goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's not scored yet, so yeah, it was going to happen. The crowd.
The club that he was linked to as well. The club that he was linked to, obviously, and obviously the story.
Yeah. We're going to get him. The crowd were really up for it. I think the crowd. On the back of last season, I think that's why there's so much energy in that crowd. And I think
definitely.
Tonight was going to be the night.
Is it me or did this mean more for PSG tonight than it did for me for City? And I'm not trying to dismiss it, but it felt like even for... I don't know if I'm being fair there, but it definitely...
No, I would agree, but probably for a different reason. Because if you look at PSG this season in general, I don't think they've really been at their best. Especially when you've had the 3 of them playing.
Ignore me. You can crack on there.
They've not really kind of been at what's maybe been expected of them, and there's a lot of shouts early on about is Pochettino really the right guy for them? So I think today, not so much for last season in terms of importance, but like beating us and in the manner that they did was really like their statement that we can play. And yeah, I think today was more important for them than it will be for us, because we're having a good season as it is. So
isn't it weird though, like that, essentially, and like they will beat us tonight, but kind of unconvincingly, it's weird because it's like if I was a PSG fan, I'd be happy, of course, but I would have been like, are we that good? Because the question there, not in a bad way, is because like City looked like if we'd just found a little bit of confidence, we were. I mean, to be fair, they didn't play well either, so if they find their confidence, they'll be better. But if we did look a level above them, and I'm not just saying that, but we did look potentially a level above them. You know what I mean by that? In terms of, I feel more confident that we would do something. That we'd go further. Once again, I don't think there was enough signs that they'd improved. I mean, it is early in the season, so they will probably sharpen up and so on. But the Etihad game will be interesting, won't it? But what I was going to say, I was going to basically talk about the general idea of like we played a strong team tonight essentially, and we only really rotated 2 players. It was just 2 players, wasn't it? What do you think Pep's thoughts are behind that? Do you agree with it? How do you feel the Liverpool game? It's multifaceted, that question, but dive into it.
I think. I mean, he's been given a hard week, and the decisions had to be made. I think for the players available, I personally wouldn't have changed the team tonight. I think the team tonight was pretty spot on. The players on their day, good enough to beat PSG. I think it was 7 of them tonight had played in the semi-final. So, it was a strong enough team. This is one of those. I know normally on a European night, there's question marks when it doesn't go our way. What's Pep doing and stuff? This was one of those nights where I don't think you could throw that out there. I think he's put out a good team, players in their normal positions. The only thing I'd maybe question was, could we made changes earlier?
Yeah.
I think it became pretty. I mean, and people that know me know I'm a huge backer for Raheem, and I do genuinely hope that he finds his 18-19 kind of form again.
Yeah.
But as the game was going on, every time he was getting the ball, the defenders were not scared to go up to him. When De Bruyne is dribbling, when Mahrez is dribbling, when Foden came on, they're backing up, they're trying to get in position. When Raheem's got the ball, they're standing straight up to him. And I thought, positionally or like player for player, the changes could have been made a bit sooner. But from the starting 11, I wouldn't have argued it. I think that was a fair team to play.
How do you think the Sterling thing unfolds? Because I'm not sure many people realise, but he's in the last 2 years of his contract now. Regardless of what we think of Sterling, his form, I guarantee you that we are more aware of Sterling's poor form than the rest of the world is. And what I mean by that is that we pay more attention to because we're fans. So I guess the point I'm making is the general perception of Sterling around the world is still one of a very good player, And I think because he still has that in him somewhere. So I guess the point I'm making is he will be relatively coveted by other teams, and he's now into his. He's had probably a pretty indifferent couple of years approaching now, to be honest, in terms of form. I don't think he's always been as bad as people says he has, but I do think there's been lows as low as people have said they have at the same time, if that makes sense. And we are facing a situation now with Sterling where when he gets to the end of the season, he's got a year left. And this is Manchester City. Like, how do you see? What I mean by Manchester City is we don't sell particularly well, and things could be interesting in the transfer market. How do you see this unfolding realistically? Will he sign a contract? Will he go in the summer? Will he just play his contract out? Will it get worse, the situation now? What do you reckon is going to happen?
I think for him personally, I think it kind of unfolds as to what the club see as their strategy moving forwards in terms of investment. I think the focus areas are going to be striker and left back. So I think their first port of call was, can we afford to get rid of him and not have him in the squad with the potential of not actually replacing him? I think if you actually look at the players coming through and the players we've got, it's a fair argument. So I don't think the club would hesitate and it has to be the right bid. And I still think we can get good money for him. This isn't a kind of try and negotiate a deal. This is get some good money for him.
What do you mean by that, good money?
I think we've got our money's worth for what we've paid for him. I don't think he's not paid us back in that respect.
Oh yeah, definitely, and more. I'd say 50 million. He scored 100 odd goals for Man City. He's more than scored. More than
all the late winners. In the Centurion season, he was vital in the 18-19 season. But I still think if we're forking out £100 million for Jack Grealish, Raheem with a year left, admittedly, I would still be looking at 40, 50, 60 million. Personally, okay. I'm no businessman. I'm not inside the world of football.
No, you're probably right. The only problem I would say is I think Europe's skint, and that's the thing. So who buys him? Who buys him?
That's the next issue. The problem is who buys him. Because I think a lot of the clubs who would maybe be interested in him, more so the Spanish clubs, they can't afford him. And then clubs like PSG, now you look at their free transfer business this summer. Now, if Raheem gets to his final year, we don't get a deal for him either to another club or to stay with us. It's only really 6 months, and then PSG could come knocking. Yeah. Now, if PSG can get Raheem Sterling for free, I'm fairly sure they would entertain that. For the talent
I agree.
For the talent they have, they would do that. So
they would definitely take Sterling on a free for PSG. I think most teams would actually. And bear in mind, Di Maria's 33 years old now, so there we go. He'll be gone by that point, so they'll see him as a replacement for him. You know, he's a different player. They would. So. It's going to be Tony, mate. It's going to be interesting, and just obviously for the sake of the goodbye, I've got to get this back on, of course.
Get back on.
We've got to see it out. We've got to see it out together. There we go, Tony, legend. Thank you so much for coming on, dressing gown buds there. I'll catch you in a bit, man. I'm going to jump over and get Omar on in a second. Catch you in a bit, mate. See you later. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
always wear a dressing gown is my general advice. This we got from our honeymoon. I'm going to get to Omelevo in a second as well. Don't forget patreon.com/Esteemed Company, or you can become a member and have a say. I've got Omelevo and then I got Scott lined up. Had a frustrating night, but I'm sure one person's big grin coming up next will usually put a smile on our faces. I'll go back and get him on the stream right now. How you doing, my friend? You okay?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm tired, and I needed City to win today. But other than that, I mean, I'm okay because life ain't too bad. Is it? Sorry?
It was a good game, wasn't it?
Do you know what? It was a good game, actually. Even though I didn't like watching it as a Man City fan, I actually agree it was a good game. So it was just one. I just wish it'd end up in a better way for us. But what was your take on? What was your top line take on the game tonight?
For me, I just saw like headline of it is just two identical attacks. It's just that one was clinical and one was not. We all played without a striker, and one took their chances and we didn't create much in the second half especially. But one thing, I think the thing that encouraged me the most was the fact that PSG are actually very easy to open up. Like, it's crazy how easy they are to open up. And I feel like on a different day, with different settings and whatever, if Bernardo scores, we can actually better them.
Sure, I'm glad you said that because I feel the same thing. I feel if Bernardo scores there, we go the momentum. Obviously, ifs, but and maybes, everyone can say that. But I do think the momentum would have been massively in our hands there, and I think we would have really given them a difficult time. Can't prove it, of course, but I think you're onto something personally. Because it didn't feel difficult, did it? Even though we lost, it didn't feel difficult. Is that a fair thing to say?
It did exactly. Like, I thought that a goal was gonna come through. That's why I was so calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
But then like, I just got some encouraging things. Like, I saw that Grealish is finally learning that it's not easy to be a City player. No. It's not easy to play the Champions League. There are certain lessons that you're getting from it. Rodri is gaining more confidence. Rodri was superb again for the second time in a row. So I was just picking up the positive stuff here and there. And we can beat PSG. Like, if the Chelsea defeat in the final, that one hurt, not because of the stage, but then also because it looked like we can never get the better of them, and that's why the victory felt so sweet. But this game, it felt like we won, but we didn't. So,
in what way what do you mean by that? It felt like we won, but we didn't.
But I mean that like, there's just so many things, so many positives to take from it. Like, and chance creation. Like, I can say that when they come to the Etihad, it's going to be a very different story. It's going to be a very different story. And I don't know, like, the game just passed me by and I just enjoyed it, and I'm not as hurt as other people.
The way I feel about this, man, and I'm not sure if you feel the same way or not, but it's games like this, there's almost something to be said sometimes. You want to win every game, of course you do, but there's almost sometimes a value in a costless defeat because it didn't cost anything in that game, really. But there's almost something to be said for, it's very much like, you're fucking great, lads, against Chelsea. Well done. Yeah, but tonight you were a bit wasteful and it's cost us a game against PSG, and it's almost like a reminder that, as much as good as you can be one day, the job isn't finished. It can be very much like, good that day, not so good tonight, not bad, but go and be good again against Liverpool. You know what I mean? It's almost like it can ground the team, and they say that you learn more often in defeat than you do in victory. And that's how I try and look at these. And from what I saw, by the way, I was reading, and I'm not sure if everyone's seen this or not, but I was reading Pep's comments. He seems really relaxed. He seems as relaxed as you do, man. He seems like he did that thing he does where he says, "Now we're gonna go eat tonight, drink a glass of wine, and gonna recover." That's classic Pep when he's not asked. He always mentions getting a glass of wine. I've noticed he does that. So, and I think that's telling for what it's worth. I feel like Pep would be like, just one of those nights tonight.
It's something that my dad's classic line is, it's football, and just, we must start accepting the fact that this is a sport and it's not a one-way street where we're going to get it all our own way. You must acknowledge the fact that we're playing a very good team that has too much quality, and we're going to go toe-to-toe. Sometimes it's going to happen, sometimes it's not going to happen. But then, the manner in which we lost didn't feel like a. It didn't. We didn't feel hopeless. We didn't feel helpless. There was something.
Absolutely
There
spot
was
on, man.
some,
Absolutely spot on. I agree. I also love your
and
dad, by the way. He sounds like a calm bloke. Like, and I appreciate that massively.
yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate a level heading amongst the storm, and I think a little bit of perspective is always kind of useful. Having said that, I mean, we did fail tonight. Unfortunately, we know we lost. I mean, and if you lose a game,
yeah.
you fail in some way at very least. What tonight was the reason for that, in your personal opinion? Does it have to be a
I
reason? You know, I mean, I guess I'm just curious to see what.
For me, the only thing that just comes out of my like the only thing that pops into my mind is that we didn't take the opportunities that we actually created.
Yeah.
As I say, like PSG are very easy to open up. I know you enjoyed the performance from Nuno Mendes, but from that side, Mahrez in the first half, we could have gotten a lot of goals.
Oh,
And
he was all
how
over him. He was all over him, wasn't he,
and
Morris?
Kimpembe and Marquinhos, I don't know, there's something about Kimpembe where like they were holding on to, he was focusing on Diaz instead of focusing on the ball during corners. You can just see that there are a lot of mistakes. Like it was just those small little details, like a good goal, a good cross from Mahrez gets cleared by Cancelo, Nuno Mendes. Like we were lurking at the back posts. Like on a different day, you're just going to punish them. And I feel like we performed well. It's just that we like it's just it's a good performance. I don't know, it's a good performance. Like
No, the thing is, I think that's fine. I don't think you're wrong, and I don't blame people for being frustrated either, because people just don't like losing and whatever, and I don't blame them either. But I think there's many ways to view the same thing, and I don't think any is more particularly valid than the other. But I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, and I think Pep's reaction seems sincere. You can tell when he's relaxed, and to be honest, there's something to be said as well for just getting through tonight as well, and like in a decent state of mind. And I think the players will be in a decent mind, even though they've lost. I think the players will be. I think the players will be calm as well. I think they'll be calm. They'll be tired for what it's worth, but not overly tired either. No one was kicked to pieces. You know, hopefully, touch wood, there was no injuries. And
can you?
I don't. It's not a bad. Go on, sorry.
Can you appreciate Marco Verratti?
Good player, man.
I just saw him. He was surrounded by 3 people, and he just managed to get out. Like the level of composure on that guy, and also reminds me of that Fernandinho characteristic, the charm with the ref, pestering, getting away with stuff, pressurizing the ref to give cards. Like that's actually a dime. That's actually an underrated CDM, and wow. Like I don't know, like I just enjoyed the quality today. Like Messi's goal that was a trademark Messi goal that usually comes from the left side, where Jordi Alba comes through, lays it off, and then Messi just puts it into the top corner where goalkeepers can't do anything. Like it was just. I mean, the only thing that worries me is that you should never claim points that you don't have. You know,
no, you're right. You're right.
So it's very important that when you go to Bridge, like when you go away and when you come back home, we should actually just tune it on so that we make sure in the last game that we play PSG, we're at least safe. But Man City are a very good team.
I think for what it's worth, mate, is I think we actually so I don't think there was any complacency there tonight, and you're not saying that, but thankfully, I mean, I think Pep took it seriously tonight. I think the players took it seriously as well. I didn't say, obviously there was a couple of changes. I think there had to be, for logical reasons, a couple of changes after the Liverpool game, but I do think we took it seriously tonight, and I don't think there was any we'll win the rest of the games mentality. I don't think there was that, I didn't want to see that, from the players. I mean, the fans are sort of allowed to think it because we're detached from it, but the players and the coaching team, I felt like they took that game seriously tonight, as seriously as it needed to be took in the context of the season, which I thought was impressive, because they could have, to be honest, the club, if they wanted to, Pep could have rested loads of players and gone, fuck it, we'll be fine, which would have been logical but maybe presumptuous. So I think the balance tonight mentally of how we approached the game and the performance, I thought it was decent. Go on, sorry?
That's not Pep to actually just...
No, it's not, is it? He's not. He doesn't do that, does he?
Yeah, but also, I don't know, I just want to address one thing.
Go for it, man.
And people should stop making lazy conclusions, or the fact that, I don't know, for example, once Sterling gets into the starting lineup, oh, you're going to lose, or we lost because Sterling started. Sometimes it's not that, and unfortunately, he's just going to get punishment for it, and
Yeah,
it's unfair.
I agree.
It's really unfair, and people just make those lazy conclusions. Fine, he's not a striker, and he's not probably our best winner at this current moment. But then there is a reason why Pep played him. It's because PSG were you could get in behind PSG. Ferran Torres could have done a job as well. But Sterling is our fastest attacker, so it makes sense for him to get in behind those people.
Which he did, for what it's worth. It didn't work, but he did get in behind an awful lot. He did.
You must understand that this guy's just low on confidence, but then it's an easy conclusion to make. The same way Tottenham is playing bad, and it's Harry Kane. We understand that he's not in the box all the time, but it's just easy to pin something on it. We lose. We don't have a striker. It's easy to just pin on it. The most important thing is context. If you don't watch a City game, you're going to say, okay, City didn't have a striker, or Sterling played. Those are lazy conclusions that we're not supposed to be making as people that watch a full 90 minutes. And it's just...
I agree, mate. I agree, bro. I agree. I think my biggest problem in life in general is that we're always looking for a reason why things didn't work. And I know I asked that question, but I was interested in your opinion because I think, but in general, as you said, it's football. It's context. It's football. You don't win every game. The way I see it in general, if the application's right, the intention's right, and the performance is there largely. Shit happens sometimes, unfortunately, mate, doesn't it? Unfortunately, you have one of those nights. And to be honest, when you've got the quality of Messi...
As that guy said, it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm an mate. That's a good way to end it there. I'm gonna get on to Scott, who's been waiting for like a Saint for a while. You're a legend, mate. I'll catch you very, very soon. See you later, pal. Bye-bye. I absolutely adore Omolemo, an absolute Saint. He's calm, man. He's so fucking zen. I'm absolutely what a guy. I'm gonna go to Scott, who's another absolute legend. Mr. Denemy, how you doing, man? You all right?
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I don't think any of us could bring the zen that Omolemo did there, but but it's good to see you. How you feeling? I know you're not feeling too great. You okay?
Yeah, I just took a at-home test, and it says negative, and then I'm gonna go take one tomorrow. So hopefully I'm good, because I'm supposed to go on a bachelor party this weekend. But
shit, man. No, there's a few times recently, by the way, for what it's worth. And I presume you locked down in America in the way that we did for a while. I think our immune systems are all just not been exposed to all the rhinoviruses and all the other colds and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, man, it's just a bit of a cold that's hit a bit harder because we spent a year indoors or something. But either way, you'll be all right, man. You'll be okay. Fingers crossed.
That's what I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed. I love that fucking shirt, by the way. What a shirt. It's just one of my favourite ever Manchester City shirts. Was it in my top 10 list? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure it was.
It's a beautiful shirt. It's a genuinely gorgeous shirt. I think I had it. No, I did have it for a while, but it's shrank and it's just I can't fit into it anymore.
I think this is my first City shirt, to be honest.
Oh man, it's a beauty. You chose absolutely perfectly. Unfortunately, the performance wasn't as beautiful as the shirt and tonight. How do you feel? You've been listening to all the City fans chat. You probably might have seen my thoughts on it and whatever. But what are your personal thoughts on the game of tonight? Where do you sit with it?
I think we performed really well, to be honest. I think we got unlucky in some situations. I think it could have been pretty much a tie game. But I mean, they had two great shots that were unstoppable in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing, especially on the first one. There's nothing really anybody can do about that. And then Messi's goal, I mean, it was pretty well struck as well. So we had over 3 times the amount of shots that they did, and then also I think we had over double the shots on target. So I think we played really well. We just didn't get lucky, and that's just sometimes how the game goes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair conclusion. Don't carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah. And then so about you saying, I think that the team will be disappointed, but in like a good way. I think they'll use this to kind of drive them through and say, guys, we gotta be putting some of these balls into the back of the net. And I think like they played so well that they will be disappointed that they didn't get the result, but I think they'll use it to kind of drive them to be like, we're playing well. We were there. We had more possession than them. We were getting a bunch of shots off. We just gotta get that last finishing touch. And then I think going into the weekend, honestly, I think it's gonna fuel them quite a bit to to perform well against Liverpool.
No, I think you're right. I think there's an element of using this as fuel. Like great result. Then as I said to him, it's a reminder that it doesn't matter if you play well. It doesn't mean you're going to win. Like you have to be perfect in everything to win a game against a team like that. You can't just turn up and be very good against PSG. You can't just turn up and be very good against Liverpool or Chelsea. You have to be excellent. You have to be perfect. And I actually think there's power in that reminder, genuinely, because it's not just good enough, is it, to play well? It isn't. Because they'll just be like, all right, well, we'll give it to the best player of all time and you'll put it in for 20 yards. And as what Messi did tonight, we know Salah's capable of doing exactly the same. Salah can pick it in top corner as well. And even if we have all the ball. So it's a reminder about being perfect. It's a reminder about being ruthless. And there's something in that. Someone asked, by the way, in the comments saying, what the fuck's a bachelor party? I presume it's a stag do, right? Is it the same thing as a stag do in the UK?
Yeah,
it's well, where you go out before the wedding and shit like that. So I presume it's that. Sorry. Oh, I did have one. I did have one before mine. Just reminded me. We did have one. There's too much stress going on before our wedding, so I couldn't be bothered with it. Either way, how are you feeling ahead of the Liverpool game now? Because obviously it's been an emotional week, I would say, a very up and down week. What are you expecting for the team and so on? In terms of the lineup and stuff like that. What do you think will happen?
Yeah, no, I think the lineup, I think it's probably going to be pretty similar unless I don't think any of the injuries will probably change. As far as the defensive, the one thing I would say that I would like to see is I would definitely like to see Foden. I know he's coming off an injury, but just the energy he brings, I think it's irreplaceable at this point. And the movements he makes off the ball, the things he does with the ball so quickly, I think that we definitely need to keep Foden involved. I mean, he only played for a little bit today, and I think he played immensely. I mean, I just hope that he is feeling 100%, but that's somebody, I know everybody's super hyped up on Foden, but I honestly do think he's very close to being considered one of the best footballers around, because just the way he moves with it, his awareness of like being like his spatial awareness and how to move with the ball and when to play a ball at the right time. I think he doesn't really sit on the ball too much. As far as taking too many touches, and I think that just what he brings to our team is almost irreplaceable.
I think, to be honest as well, I mean, logically, the conclusion that is Foden is one of the best in his position in the world already, because I think it's fair to say he's a key player for Manchester City now, right? And we are one of the best teams in the world. It's as simple as that. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's the best or anything like that, but he's already one of the best attacking midfielders in world football. That's just a fact, in my personal opinion, because, I mean, he's proven it. And I think we're realising the value of his immense all-round game: energy, intuition, goals, creativity, pace, pressing. A genius, he did. You see his little backwards flick in his own area out of defence. That was stupid, but I loved it. I mean, and also I think there's an element of Foden wanting to go up another level this season as well, which I think he could do. How are you feeling about De Bruyne, by the way? Interesting. What do you think about De Bruyne tonight?
I think he's just coming back from injury. I think some people are saying, is he falling off? I definitely don't think that's the case. I think, people come off of different injuries in different ways. We don't really, I guess, I don't know if other people know the whole extent of his injury and what exactly happened, but was it a foot? I think it was a foot problem, right?
Yeah, it was pretty serious. He's still allegedly recovering from the face injury as well. I think he's having a lot of problems with his injuries at the moment. So I heard a rumor that he's still fucking got a bit numb in his face from when Rudiger hit him. So I think he's essentially just in a lot of pain. I wouldn't be surprised if he's had a lot of pain recently. And that can affect you, can't it?
Yeah, no, totally. And I think, it creeps into the back of your mind sometimes as well. Probably less the face and more so his ankle or foot or whatever that turned out to be. But I think, that creeps into the back of your mind. But I mean, I think he's still controlling the ball well. I mean, he's still class. He's still one of the best players in the world. I mean, you're not going to give him an open shot from 20. I mean, anywhere within 30 yards, probably none of the teams are going to be wanting to let De Bruyne be open from that far out, which just goes to show I don't think he's really fallen off too much. I mean,
he also played the best pass of the game, that outside cross to Sterling who hit the crossbar. That was a beautiful outside of the boot, like little curved cross. It was gorgeous, wasn't it? That's the thing. He's still creating chances, isn't he? He's still.
Yeah.
I wonder if, because he was essentially back from preseason a bit slow and because of injuries, I wonder if they're just essentially his preseason is now, and your preseason is really intense in terms of fitness. I'd wonder if they're just literally like we're playing you into fitness, like we're making you run intensely, like I wonder if that's what they're doing. I mean, I don't know either way, but there's an element of that, isn't there? I think potentially.
No, yeah, totally.
So basically, how do you think we will line up against Liverpool at the weekend? I'm just genuinely curious.
So I think we should have. I mean, Bernardo, I think has to play. He's played himself into a starting role again today. He was all over the place, just hustling his ass off. If he can play, I mean, I don't understand how he can just keep going all the time.
That
But
guy's a robot, isn't he?
yeah, for sure. I'd like to see Bernardo, Ferran, and probably Mahrez up top, and then Foden and De Bruyne in the mid. With I would say even I mean Rodri. It's pick of the choice for Rodri or Fernandinho. I like both of them. Fernandinho I love just the way that he like that's the one thing I feel like we were kind of missing today. I know Laporte was kind of getting into Neymar's head a little bit, but when we played PSG the last time, Fernandinho was literally like so deep in their emotion, like got them so wrapped up.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Yeah, I mean it was great for us, but they were like all freaking out and having like mental breakdowns. So,
So you're saying
Fernandinho,
essentially there's not enough shithousery tonight? Is that what you're getting at?
I mean, I'm always down for a little bit of good shithousery, you know. So, but yeah, I think that is an important part of the game, especially when you're playing people like Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. Like you have to. I mean, as terrible as it is to say, that's just part of the game growing up. You know, my coach always told me if you see a kid who's super good, you want to go in and go
Who
in
said
10
that to you,
times
sorry?
harder. My coach growing up when
Your
I
first-
played, yeah, he was always like, you know, if there's a kid who's really good out there, you know, you want to, you know, if he's
Was
receiving
your
the ball
coach
at his
Sam Allardyce essentially? Was it like a
I,
yeah?
he was a bit of a character, but yeah, he would say, you know, if they're receiving the ball with their back to you, you know, it's coming into them and you're on their back, you know, graze your foot down their back of their heel a little bit, you know, get in their head, you know, you want to. Yeah, not injure them, you know, you don't want to just like destroy them, but you know, step on their like the back of their shoe a little bit, you know, just like, you know, not terrible, but you know, it gets them into that mood where they're like, hey,
Was
like
this
they get
was this in football as well? Like, or was it just like in other sports?
No, this was just in football. Yeah, I had a coach.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, he's a pretty good coach too. I mean, we won a lot of games, but yeah, he was just like, you got to get in those people's heads. It takes them out of their zone.
Like
I
the
mean,
anti Ted Lasso basically.
yeah, he's definitely the anti-Ted Lasso, that's for sure. But yeah, I loved him. He was my favorite coach, I'd say, probably for sure, because yeah, he knew how to get the job done, and we usually got it done. So yeah, I think
Alan reckons that PSG players got in Grealish's mind a little bit. I think they possibly did, by the way.
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's a fair comment because he looked a bit frustrated, didn't he? In general, and I think that's something he's probably gonna have to learn. I mean, has Grealish ever felt anything like that tonight? Is that a fair question? Like,
I guess I didn't watch him enough at Aston Villa to know, but as far as playing for City, I don't think so. I mean,
in
nobody's
terms of
really
the
done
mood
that
as well
to
of the
him.
game, he's definitely never played anything like that in terms of like the quality, the form, the normality of the game. But I mean, maybe for England he's played like at a higher level and so on. But I mean, the PSG are wily, they know what they're doing. They're a certain kind of team, aren't they? But
Yeah,
so
I think
essentially,
also.
go on, Karen.
Yeah, no, I think also with that, like a lot of people are saying he was diving a bunch, and I could see like on some things, but there's definitely a couple calls that I thought should have definitely gone his way, that didn't go his way, and I think that
Yeah.
even gets into your mind more so than players kind of getting into you, because you can say, all right, I'm gonna go back at these people, but even when when it seems like the ref is against you type of thing, it's definitely puts something into the back of your head that makes it difficult to concentrate.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, psychologically, I think we lost that battle, Grealish, unfortunately, but that's how it is. Scott, mate, we need to chat about some videos, by the way, when you're on here. I owe you big time. I mean, we'll sort some out. Like, I'll send you my emails, so it's a little bit easier to chat or something like instead of like via DM and stuff. But mate, you're a legend. It's clashed out into you. I've realised it's midnight in the UK and I've been working since 6 a.m. So
Yep.
I'm very
No worries,
fucking tired.
man.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to leave it there if that's all right. But guys,
Of
thank you
course.
so much for watching. I'll leave Scott on as we say the goodbyes. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Go watch the match reaction if you want to. Thank you for all the support tonight. Even though we didn't win tonight, it was still a good night. I thought the game was interesting. There was lots to take from the game. Scott's a legend. Amalema's a legend. Tony is. Louis is. And Sam is as well. And everyone else who's joined in. Please do hit the subscribe button, like button. We're getting closer to 60k. It'd be appreciated. Scott, mate, catch you in a bit. bit.
Yep,
Appreciate
see
it.
you, man.
Everyone say
Thank you.
goodbye to Scott in the chat as well. If you don't mind, say goodbye to Scott in the chat. And I'll catch you all
Goodbye,
very,
everybody.
very soon. Bye-bye. See you later, guys.
Peace.
Bye-bye in a bit.